Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation, we're going to see how we go about starting a new case in Autopsy. In our previous video, we saw how we install Autopsy onto a virtual install of Windows 10. So on that same machine, I have a shortcut for Autopsy on the desktop. I'm just going to go ahead and double click it. Be patient with the launch, especially the first time. It will take some time to load all of the modules, and we'll look at those modules in just a moment. Once Autopsy has launched, you'll be given the option to create a new case or open an existing case. We're going to start a new case, and that's the option we're going to select here from the screen. Now we got to give the case a user-friendly name. That can be the name of the suspect. That can be the name of the case itself. That can be just about anything you want to use to identify this particular case. I'm going to call this new case Suspects PC. The base directory is where you want to save the data you're about to capture. Now by default, it's going to be up inside of the documents. You can leave that as it is, or you can change the location. I'm going to leave it as is. And then down here at the bottom, you can see that we're using this as a single user. Now, if I was collaborating, then I could select a multi-user. So the case data will be stored in the following directory in the Documents folder. We can go ahead and click Next. Here we can give it a case number. You can use today's date. You can use the actual case number. I'm going to go ahead and just type in 0001. That's going to be my case number. The examiner, I'll type in my name, my phone number, type in my email, and any notes that I think are appropriate. I can also include the information about my organization if I so desire. I can manage organizations. I can add a new organization. Now once I add a new organization, I can then go over here and I can pull down that information. Once you have the required information filled in, you can go ahead and click Finish. It's now creating the database for this particular case up inside of my documents. On this next window, we're going to add our data source. Previously, I had imaged the suspect's machine. I'm going to import that particular image in just a moment. But right now, we're going to generate a new host name based on the data source name. We're going to go ahead and use that as the default. We're going to click Next. I have a disk image. We've selected that option. I'm going to click Next. Now I'm going to browse on over to where I saved that image. So I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to go on over to my documents. Up inside of the FTK image folder, you'll see that I have an image called 2020 Jimmy Wilson using an in-case format, which is fine. Autopsy can work with that. I'll go ahead and select that, and I'll click Open. Now the time zone is very important. The time zone should be based on where the suspect's machine was actually seized. And that's going to keep everything logical when it comes time to do any presentation. So make sure that you pay attention to the time zone. I'm going to go ahead and leave this as the default as Los Angeles time zone. That's fine. I'll now click Next. Here we see all the modules that can be ran against the image that we've imported into Autopsy. So you scroll down here and you're going to see some things that are not checked, such as Plaso. Plaso will allow you to create timestamps. And that might be important. That might be something you want to check. That's up to you. We're not doing an Android image, so we can uncheck the Android analyzer. Another thing that is important is the keyword search. So you want to click on keyword search and make sure that we check all these boxes over here. Using the keyword search will help greatly when analyzing this particular image when we want to search for specific information. Go ahead and check all the boxes. And when you're ready, go ahead and click Next. The image is now being imported and it is now being scanned using all of the different modules that we chose for this particular investigation. Once you're all done, just click the Finish button. Now this import process of the image and scanning it using the modules can take some time. This is a small image. It'll probably take an hour or so, but you'll see in the left window pane that the numbers for the different objects will change. It will increase. So it can take some time depending on the size of the image. For some images that may be terabytes in size, it can take days, sometimes even weeks, to complete the importation process. The analysis of this particular image has been going on for roughly about 20 minutes, and it's just 60% completed, but it keeps pulling up more and more interesting data. So I suggest that you allow the ingest of the modules to complete, that is to finish the analysis, and then you can start looking at all of the information that is available to you inside of Autopsy. And while our image is still being analyzed, we can look at the interesting artifacts that have currently been found over in the left window pane. And you'll see that under Data Artifacts, we have communication accounts. You can expand all these. Now, while it's being analyzed, this may be a little slow, so do take your time. For email, we can click on this and we can see all the different email accounts that are currently available on this machine. You can continue on and you can look at some of the email messages that have been found so far in the analysis band. And you can click on any of these, and down in the bottom right window pane, you can see the content. These are still being analyzed, so we're not getting much. Here we go. Here we got some information here. So you can see that he's talking about a new price list. And again, you can just click on these. And again, it's going to be a little slow, but you can eventually get inside of these email addresses and look at the communication between this individual and other individuals that he may have been conspiring with. Some of the more interesting artifacts may be located inside of the XF metadata. These are images. So you can open up this folder here and you can expand this over just a little bit, move it over just a little bit, and you see that we have a number of JPEGs. And you can click on this, give it a moment to pop up, and you can look at the images that he has captured with a camera or whatever the device was. And you can go in here and look at this information, but not only the image itself, but the file metadata. So the metadata can tell you exactly what it is you're looking at. It can tell you when the image was taken, the longitude, the latitude. It can give you all kinds of information about that particular image. And you can also look at if there's any text accompanying that particular image. So here we see that it was marked as a particular individual named Jessica Schultz of the USA during the curling training on day 1 at the Winter Olympics. That was in Russia. All right. And we see there's a lot of good information in here about this particular image. And that's the kind of stuff that you can use to help build your case. Now, Autopsy is also capable of looking at file extensions and images and files to see that if they're mismatched. That is to say, if the individual tried to hide something, he may have renamed that particular extension on that device, and it could be something that he doesn't want you to see. So you can go in here where we see sticky notes, for instance. You can click on that, and you notice that it tells you that the extension mismatch was detected. You look at the file metadata on that, see if there's anything of interest. And so you can use all of this information that's being provided for you by Autopsy to help build your case. And as we go through this video series on Autopsy, we'll be looking more at the different artifacts and how we can glean information off of those artifacts to help build our digital forensics investigation case.